All right, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about content strategy a little bit more. We're going to talk about how to use it in practice. And we're going to focus on some things like matching content to the audience you're talking with, as well as the goals that you have and where the customers are at in their journey. So there's a lot to cover. Let's get into it. Again, as mentioned, we're going to cover several key topics to help you understand how to match your content to audiences and goals. We're going to look at content types, where the different types of content that you can use to engage your audience. We'll talk about content for personas and how to tailor your content to specific personas. Um, this is to make sure it resonates with your target audience. We're also going to look at the content in the customer journey and how content can be aligned with different stages of the customer journey to maximize its impact. Finally, we'll cover some methods for evaluating any gaps in our content and what content might need to be created. So let's begin by looking at what is content strategy. As a reminder, content strategy is more than just making social posts. It's a deliberate, goal-driven plan that should ensure the content your company shares has a clear purpose, a clear audience, and a clear outcome. To have successful content, you need to know your audience. What content do they find valuable? Where would they like to see the content? And how does that content align or fit in with your marketing goals? If we go beyond the basics, we need to consider multiple things when creating a piece of content. Things like who is the content for? What stage of the buying process are they in? Where are they likely to see the content that they need to see when they need to see it? Part of today's lecture is going to be about understanding content throughout the buying funnel. That is at the discovery phase, the comparison phase, the messy middle phase that we talked about. We're also going to be looking at like branding content versus conversion content. And on top of the purpose of content, you also need to consider who the content is for, the persona. So in this section, we're going to talk about different types of content and why deciding what type of content is an important decision for brands. We'll understand what enables some brands to thrive on platforms like TikTok, while other brands dominate with blogs and podcasts. So let's take a closer look at the three different types of content that we have listed here and how they can be used effectively. When I think of content, I think of three main categories: text, audio, and video or visual content. For text, some examples might be like blog posts or articles, even white papers and ebooks can be considered. Some social media posts like Twitter, if there's no images involved, would fit solely into the text category. You get the idea. Now, some brands that use primarily text content include companies like HubSpot. HubSpot's known for their comprehensive blog post, and they also provide a lot of ebooks for free on their website that have to do with marketing and sales. Moz is another company that provides in-depth articles. They typically look at search engine marketing, SEO, other digital marketing topics. They have lots of guides out there. They also kind of blend it with some visual and video content. Every Friday, they have what they call as Whiteboard Fridays, where they film a video explaining an SEO topic or some sort of digital marketing topic, but they also turn that video into a long form blog post. So those two brands, HubSpot and Moz, are good examples of companies using text content. Text content is great for providing detailed information. It's also good for educating your audience. Both HubSpot and Moz use it primarily for education purposes. And text really helps websites with their SEO. Next up, audio content. Some examples of audio content include things like podcast and even audiobooks. Now, you probably have heard some of the major podcasts out there, like Joe Rogan, for example. His podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, is one of the most popular podcasts globally. It's helped him build a massive following, secure lucrative deals, and even like have his own company or partnerships with companies like Onnit, based out of Austin, where they have a massive partnership. Another maybe lesser known example, but still very good, is a podcast called the Smart Passive Income Podcast. This one's hosted by Pat Flynn. It's a great example of a podcast that's grown through its audio marketing. Since 2008, Flynn shares online business and blogging strategies. He is open with his income sources and marketing tips. It's a top business podcast and it has over 47 million downloads. So he's doing really well. And he's gone on to not only build his podcast, but provide different guides and packages and products that he markets largely through his podcast. Now, audio content's perfect for reaching audiences who prefer to consume content on the go. So, people who like to commute or workouts. I tend to listen to podcasts a lot when I'm walking my dogs. Lots of things like that can be useful for audio content. Now, video and visual content, this is things like videos and infographics, even images or live streams would count as video content or visual content. Um, so you see brands like Red Bull and GoPro have very successful YouTube channels. They share a lot of engaging video content on those channels. Brands like Nike and National Geographic like to share visually appealing images and videos on Instagram. So you'll see those sorts of brands who focus more on aesthetics, looking at platforms like Instagram. Now, visual and video content is highly engaging and it can effectively capture attention. And that makes it ideal for social media and marketing campaigns, especially at the higher level of the campaign, at the awareness generation. These sort of nice graphics get people to stop and stare. Understanding the strengths of each content type and how leading brands use them can help you better tailor your own content strategy to meet your audience's needs and achieve marketing goals. We can also categorize content as long form or short form. Long form content includes in-depth articles, blog posts, white papers, ebooks, and case studies. Long form content typically has over 1,000 words and provide detailed insights, thorough analyses, and substantial information. You can also have long form video content where it's like not just your standard 3 to 5 minute YouTube piece, but it could be a 30-minute to an hour long YouTube video. That would qualify as long form content as well. You can also have long form audio content like the Joe Rogan Experience, typically, frequently has 2 to 3 hour long podcast. Short form content is content that's designed to be engaging and easily digestible. Some examples of short form content include tweets, Instagram posts, shorter blog posts, and those short 30-second to 1 minute videos. This type of content is usually under 1,000 words and it delivers key messages quickly and concisely. You could think of a tweet that captures your attention or an Instagram post that provides a quick update for something. Now, you have to think about the trade-off as well between reach and depth. Short form content is great for reaching a wide audience quickly. That makes it perfect for capturing attention and driving immediate action. However, it might lack the depth needed to fully engage and educate your audience. Long form content allows you to dive deep into a topic, providing valuable insights, building authority, educating your audience. It helps engage readers on a deeper level and is ideal for educating your audience, and it also helps build trust. However, because it's long form and longer and takes more to get through, your reach may not be as wide as you would get from short form content, basically because of its length and the time required to do it. So there's a trade-off, right? You want to have a mix of long and short form content, but you have to understand the trade-off between the two, right? Short form content is going to get lots of views comparatively to long form content, but the views that you get, they're not going to be as in depth as you would from long form content. Now let's talk about some different channels for content. You can host content on your website, you can have it on social media, or you can have a hybrid approach where you have it on both. Your website's obviously a crucial channel for content distribution. Your website should serve as the hub for content, including things like blog posts, articles, landing pages, videos. It's essential to optimize your web traffic for search engines so that you can attract that organic traffic and provide a seamless user experience. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn are powerful channels for reaching a broad audience. Social media allows you to share various types of content, things like text, videos, and infographics. It's also an excellent way to engage with your audience through comments, likes, and shares. You can also have a hybrid approach. Combining multiple channels can amplify your content's reach and impact. For example, you might have a blog post on your website and then promote it with random social media posts. I shouldn't say random, that's probably not the right word, but with shorter social media posts, things like on Twitter or Instagram, LinkedIn, where you have one or two highlights from the post and then you link back to the post to get people to go there. You can also use email newsletters to drive traffic to your website. Social media channels are great for reaching your wide audience quickly, for capturing attention and driving action. However, the content shared on social media, again, lacks depth. So you're trying to get that hybrid approach where you have long form on your website and you're driving people back to your website from social.